Greetings, everybody. This is Patricia Cori, and I'm coming to you today with what I'm going to call the Good News Roundup, because there's so much bad news that we're all sinking, and easily slipping into despair over the global situation. So I think it's time, without being airy-fairy and ignoring what the reality is on the planet, to focus a little bit more on some of the wonderful things that are happening and that are witness and testimony to human beings taking the planet back and winning over things that feel dominantly and determinedly, if there was such a word, to destroy our planet. So that's what this is about today. I'm talking about good things that are happening on the planet. I'd like to start by saying that I'm a big fan of Senator Robert Kennedy. I find in this man truth, humanity, and self-sacrifice from the point of view that coming out and speaking out against Big Pharma and the government and all this corporate control over human health takes a lot of strength, determination, and courage and wisdom and an utter love for humanity. And so, I know you're not listening, Senator Kennedy, but if you are, kudos to you. You have my admiration and respect. He has a website that is childrenshealthdefense.org, and you're going to want to memorize that, and I will also put the link down at the bottom if you want to see what he's up to and how he is fighting for your children and for your lives, our lives. And he's speaking out against government overreach. He's speaking out against mandatory vaccines and the programs that are affecting our children. There's a beautiful quote on this website. It's his quote, and it is very simply, the way you get democracy to function is by informing the public. And boy, oh boy. And then, the next step is you inform the public, and somehow you keep informing until they get it, until they listen. And that's what I'm doing in my small way, hopefully not that small, but doing my best. And there is a lot of sacrifice when you take on these roles, going up against the system. I do it knowingly, and I do it as a warrior, and I hope you understand that and support me. Thank you in advance for that. So one way to support me is to please subscribe to my channel so I can keep bringing this information out. And hit the like button and tell some friends. If you want to get some news and good news occasionally, then refer them over to me, and let's keep, pushing out that belief that humanity can win and that we can be informed. We don't have to be afraid to hear the news, and that there are people, there are heroes out there. There are. So when you get sucked into the gloom and doom of hopelessness, and because it's looking pretty bleak, just remember, there's all kinds of progress. We just have to dig it out. And, media doesn't want to cover it. Why? They're owned by the guys that are doing the bad stuff. So that's why we have alternative media. And you listening, you sharing, you supporting, determine whether we get to go forward or not. As I am an alternative media journalist / researcher / voice for the public. Okay? Back to Senator Kennedy's website. He says, our mission is to end the epidemic of children's chronic health conditions by working aggressively to eliminate harmful exposures, hold those responsible accountable, and establish safeguards so this never happens again. And you will find on his website lots of information, updated information about vaccines, particularly about what's happening against even though the vaccine production companies, the pharmaceutical big pharma companies, are so protected by the government, still people are winning against them. So he's talking about the win and the battle. He's talking about what to avoid, like he's got a beautiful link on that site, 25 reasons to avoid the Gardasil vaccine. This man is risking his life to bring this information out to you. I salute him. Find this site, go spend some time on it, and before you turn your babies, how many more babies are going to die? Before you hand them over to the doctors, which is becoming more and more a mandate, not a choice, and, you know, all the repercussions that come if you don't obey, go to Robert's site and read up as much as possible. And also anything you can get your hands on about the bad news about vaccine and what's happening can be balanced out by the good news that's coming from Children's Health Defense. It's a movement. He's asking for support. He's calling people to take action. He's providing resources, materials, books, and rallying like-minded people so that you're not alone in this fight. You're not alone, okay? But you need to pay attention, and at least if you're being swayed or pressured by your mind-controlled societies that are, we gotta have it, you've gotta have it. And people could die. If you don't have it, then you're gonna infect us all, which is utterly, it's such an oxymoron. If you're immune because you got the vax, then if I walk in with the virus, you're immune. So why am I a problem for you if you're immune? The whole idea of immunization is so that the virus can come into your living room and you won't be hurt. So where does this fanatic idea come that if you are not vaccinated, then you're a risk to me? It's ludicrous that people cannot see how utterly ridiculous it is. It's a counterposition to the purpose of the immunization in the first place. All right? So think, and be sure to see Robert's website. Before I move on from the vaccine update, I also mentioned Del Bigtree, who is the founder of iCan.org, and his website I will also leave you in a link, icandecide.org. I just want you to know who he is. Del Bigtree is one of the preeminent voices of the vaccine risk awareness movement around the world. These are people who are taking their own lives into their hands in order to inform you, in order to help you. They deserve your attention. He's the founder of the nonprofit Informed Consent Action Network and host of a rapidly growing internet talk show, The High Wire, boasting over 33 million views to date. Del's multi-pronged approach incorporates legal, legislative, and media actions to expose the fraud, lies, and conflicts of interest that have allowed the pharmaceutical industry to evade standardized safety testing for vaccines. This collusion between government agencies and the pharmaceutical industry, now the most powerful lobby in Washington, and hear that, has led to a dramatic increase in vaccine injuries, estimated to be as high as 5.9 million cases per year in the U.S. alone. So you need to know if you're going to be one of those cases or not, and if you are going to protect your children. And I know it's an extremely emotional subject, and I've addressed it, as I said, in a former video, but it is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. And so you need to see the big spectrum, and bearing in mind, again, that Del Bigtree, Senator Robert Kennedy, and a lot of other people behind the scenes are risking their own lives, changing their own lives for no benefit to themselves and for every reason to help right this injustice. So do go to his website. Again, I've got the link below. All right, stay tuned. I'm going to my next subject. Don't quit me. I got more. Next, a very important subject, and one that has got us all riled up, is 5G. We're seeing that being put into place with utter horror. I mean, come on. We know this is devastating to not only human health, but the entire planet. We've got birds dropping out of the sky. We've got all kinds of horror occurring, and a growing awareness of how devastating this is going to be. But because this is a good news report, what I want to tell you about is that more and more cities are recognizing the danger and saying no. And I wanted to read you this article from a website called collectiveevolution.com. of what's happening in Brussels. Here it goes. The headline is, Brussels becomes first major city to halt 5G due to health effects. Fact, the Belgian government minister has announced that Brussels is halting its 5G plans due to health effects. Reflect. Should we agree to be guinea pigs on technology that has not been safely tested? And here's the article, just a brief. I'm not going to read you the whole thing. Great news. A Belgian government minister has announced that Brussels is halting its 5G plans due to health effects. The statement was made by Céline Frémont, the minister of the government of Brussels Capital Region, responsible for housing, quality of life, environment, and energy, from an interview last Friday with Echo. She says, I cannot welcome such technology if the radiation standards, which must protect the citizen, are not respected, 5G or not. The people of Brussels are not guinea pigs whose health I can sell at a profit. We cannot leave anything to doubt. And that's Céline Frémont, Minister of the Government of Brussels Capital Region, responsible for housing, quality of life, environment, and energy. Ms. Frémont accurately identified that a 5G pilot project is not compatible with Belgian radiation safety standards and stated that she does not intend to make an exception. In the building biology guidelines, the threshold for extreme concern is 1, don't know what these mean, MW/M2. However, many government agencies still only consider thermal effects instead of the cumulative body of thousands of peer-reviewed scientific studies. I'm not going to read this all. It's a little bit technical as well, but you can follow the link I've got below and just celebrate the fact that actually a politician, I'm not crazy about any of them, but I sure like Céline Frémont, who has the chutzpah to say no, to say the people come first, to say I can't sell their health for profit. Let her stand as a symbol of what can be government representation. And kudos to you, Ms. Frémont. And this is coming more and more. We are seeing refusal for 5G. And while country after country is adhering to the 5G imposition that emanates from Huawei, the Chinese company, in fact, the U.S. has, I believe we have now a state of emergency declared by President Trump against the invasion of Chinese technology and its danger to the United States. We still have countries around the world adhering to and imposing 5G upon the earth, the citizens, the animals, the grass, space. We need to raise our voice and continue the fight against this. We have, again, because I'm trying to focus on good news, there is an organization called Principia-Scientific.org, which has a petition posted of 26,000 scientists who oppose the rollout of 5G. You want to take a look at that. There are also lots of petitions against this. Get yourself, all you need to do to be a participant is to sign a petition. And if you can't do that, if you can't put yourself in a position where you're willing to at least from the background do something about things that deeply disturb you and that you feel affect society and civilization on the planet, then you are part of the problem. So please help, sign a petition, raise your voice, go to town hall meetings, scream and yell, and let's see what we can do to stop these guys. All right, so the link to the article about the scientists opposing it and their reasons for believing that it's ultimately dangerous for health are on this site, which is also linked below. And I'll just give you a quick recap of some one-liners that are leading the way in my good news collection. Here goes. One-liner number 1 in the Financial Times. Russian agriculture sector flourishes amid sanctions. Agriculture has overtaken arms sales to become Russia's second biggest export sector. Well done. And for those of you who are Russia haters, pay attention. Russia is leading the way in biological food production. Putin wants Russia to be the #1 producer of organic food in the world. That alone thrills me. They have apparently microwaves are no longer are becoming illegal, which is absolutely wonderful. Microwaves destroy food anyway, and they destroy the environment too. And his sanctions for animals and protection of animals, I laud and celebrate. So, you know, I'm a Putin fan. Until now, he's saying what I love to hear, what I believe is leadership. And I would just welcome you to think about, before you go into your rant, if you are, about hating Russia and Russia's destroying America and all of the nonsense that you're being fed by the media, just pay attention to what things are being done in Russia and what things are being said by Putin. Personally, I think he's one of the leaders of this planet and part of the Light Brigade. And yeah, maybe he has some murky past. Who of us doesn't? But I certainly love what he's doing now. Something else, more local, less global, but I think is important. We tend to hate police. We hear horror stories about them all the time. And there are plenty of bad seed in the police department, but there are also wonderful people. And this caught my eye in the news 14 hours ago from Texas. Texas police officer buys new shoes and socks for a man in need. An officer's act of kindness was caught on camera in San Antonio, and it's not a photo op. The man saw a man who was down on his luck, asleep on a bench, went out and bought him a pair of socks and shoes. And, you know, I celebrate that. It's the little things that matter, you know. To the big picture, the little things really matter. So thank you. I don't think he even has his name mentioned, but it happened. And it happened in a place where we believe police are some of the worst. It happened in San Antonio. So, here's his name, Officer Nurlberger. Thank you, Officer Nurlberger. You give us hope. And last but not least, and that is if you can believe anything that comes out of NASA. On a nationalgeographic.com site, I read an article that says 18 Earth-sized planets have been found in our galaxy, all hiding in plain sight, and 100 more small worlds may be awaiting discovery, astronomers predict, thanks to a new method for combing through NASA data. I wonder what that method is. The article says, since a launch a decade ago, NASA's planet-hunting Kepler spacecraft has found thousands of worlds, revealing that across the galaxy, planets are more numerous than stars. Boy, I've got a real problem believing that. But at any rate, I'll send you the link to that interesting article. We want more worlds. We want to know that there are healthy also planets in our galaxy, perhaps healthier than ours at the moment. And that when the imminent disclosure finally is revealed, we have a collection of civilizations that we're going to have a chance to connect with. Boy, I'm ready for that. So that's it, guys. That's my collection of good news for the day. And I hope you've listened to the whole presentation. I'm going to keep doing these because I think that somebody needs to collect some of the good news, and that's probably me, and bring it forward and help us keep focus on the fact that the dark, horrible stuff is balanced by the wonderful, light, loving, good news, hopeful side of the scale. Okay, this is Patricia Cori signing out. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, I'm really sorry to sound like a drum, but please push the subscribe button. I'm trying to build my channel, and by doing that, I get to keep doing this work because it does take a lot of time and effort, and all I need to know is that enough of you are listening to make it worthwhile. All right? Thank you. Take care. And don't forget, my website is patriciacori.com. I have a lot going on. Oh my God, 2020 is going to be interesting. I have already 2 programs for my Soul Quest journeys. One is, again, coming to the Azores to swim with wild dolphins and to be one with the ocean beings and nature. And right after that, I've got an extraordinary visit to Bosnia Pyramids, where we'll have private time with the infamous Dr. Sam Osman-Nagic, who I adore, in visiting the Bosnia Pyramid under his tutelage. Can you dig it? So that's also coming up. These are both in June, and I will be opening registration in a few days for those. And later in the year, I'm going to be doing probably less of a exploration type of situation and more of a just self-loving, wonderful goddess trip under the Tuscan sun, where we will discover the Etruscan trail and the extraordinary Excalibur. I believe Excalibur is sitting in a rock in a place called San Galgano, where I visited and with friends and was blown away by the fact I was looking at Excalibur as I believe it to be. And also spy life and the luxury of massage, thermal waters. Just a fabulous, fabulous trip toward the end of the year. Okay, so keep posted. And by the way, when you leave your comments about this little video, please leave good news information that you've discovered and would like to share in the comment section below. Thank you. Take care. I'll see you soon. This is Patricia Cori signing out.